Babylon rolled over one of the most important and powerful empires of ancient Mesopotamia, founded more than 4,000 years ago. It was an important trading center during antiquity, partly due to its prime location on the Euphrates River. King Nebuchadnezzar led numerous food trade, several planning projects, including the construction of roads leading to and from Babylon. The main entrance into the magnificent walled city was the 60-foot high Ishar Gate, also its beautiful architecture, the Hanging Garden of Babylon, and the Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel. Early Jewish and Christians claimed that Nimrod built the Tower of Babel, referred to as a pagan temple in attempt to contact heaven. The Tower of Babel incident occurred around 4,200 years after the flood. The significance of Tower of Babel: first, the impetus the building this temple was to make themselves a name, and second, they wanted to build this tower temple so they would not be scattered.
The first wheel of Babylonian. Evidence indicate they were created to serve as potter's wheels around 3,500 BC. And the artisans of Babylon were able to create fine pottery and structures. The wheel was first used by the elite and the wealthy for transport. The Babylonians created the wheel around 3,500 BC. The first sailboat of Babylonians was invented on 3000 BCE. The inventor of the sailboat is the Babylonians. The sailboat purpose is to have the easiest, convenient trade and transaction with the other cities that far from land.
The oldest known world map is called Imago Mundi, invented by the Babylonians way back 5th century before Common Era. Its purpose is to help you travel from one location to another. The map, sometimes taken as a serious example of Asian geography, but although the places are shown in their approximately correct position, the real purpose of the map is to explain the Babylonian view of mythological world.
Here are the inventions during early ancient Sumerian period.
Wheels is widely believed to have invented around 4,200 to 4,000 BC. Wheels are invented by Mesopotamian people. Sumerians used the wheel to carry heavy loads over long distances. It is also used for chariots and battles.
Sailboats were invented in order to expand Sumerian trade. Wood and papyrus were used to make lightweight sailboats, so that it was easy for them to move on water. The sails were given a square shape and were made of linen. Before the invention of sailboat, people had to walk or ride donkeys to get over large stretches of land. Once they had made their sailboat and started to use it, they realized it could also be used during war. This invention in 1300 BC changed the pace of trading and war, and the Sumerians were able to both advance their economy and provide protection for their people.
The Sumerian water clock. The Sumerians used water clock to measure the time. They divided 1 hour into 60 minutes and each minute into 60 seconds. The water fell down drop by drop from the hole of pot. The Sumerians got idea about the time by looking at the marks given in the pot. This was a unique invention of the Sumerians. The Sumerians water clock.
The plow helped the Sumerians to develop an advanced agricultural system, turning and planting large fields quickly. Without plows, farmers have to use hoes and digging sticks to plant seeds.
And lastly, the cuneiform. Cuneiform is a system of writing invented by the Sumerians during 3000 BCE. It was the earliest tablets used for recording the allocation and storage of their goods. That's all, thank you.
The police or medjay. It has not an inventor, but they are said to be used by royalties or monarchs. In the time of 2613 to 2181 BCE, medjay are hired by royalties or monarchs to be their personal guards and hired others to watch their tombs and monuments. Nobles follow this paradigm and hired trustworthy Egyptians from respectable backgrounds to guard their valuables or themselves.
According to what I've read online, there are evidence suggests that the plow was probably made and first used by the Egyptians around 4000 BC. Unfortunately, walang ebidensya na magpapatunay kung sino ba talaga yung specific na tao na nakaimbento nito. Therefore, the ancient Egyptians are considered to be the inventor of this invention. And the ultimate aim of this invention was to place the seeds well into the soil.
Good day everyone, I am learning Blaze the Just of BEED 1 and this is my artwork, Makeup of Early Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt was one of the world's most influential civilizations. Many inventions and innovations of early ancient Egypt are still used today, and this invention was discovered on early 4000 BCE. Ancient Egypt was the first known user of eye makeup, lipstick, and skin cream. Beauty is considered of holiness in Egypt, and makeup considered to have a spiritual or magical power. Distinctive eye makeup called gold. They wear makeup because they believe their god, Horus, and gave them protection.
Blank ink of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians mix vegetable gum, salt, and beeswax to make blank ink. When was blank ink invented in ancient Egypt? Ancient Egypt began writing with ink around 3200 BC. Why was the ink important in ancient Egypt? The earliest example of preserving human thought by applying ink on flexible and durable material, papyrus, found in ancient Egypt at the dawn of history.
My name is Vincent Denham and this is a stone hurling catapult. The catapult was an ancient siege machine that could hurl heavy objects or shoot arrows with great force and for considerable distances. Some catapults could throw stones weighing as much as 350 pounds for distances greater than 300 feet. The Greek Dionysius, the elder of Syracuse, who was looking to develop a new type of weapon, invented the catapult about 400 BCE.
The ancient Archimedes screw, which was used for irrigation by the Egyptian over 2,000 years ago, is still used today with sizes ranging from the quarter of an inch to 12 feet in diameter. It is essentially a large screw that is open both ends and encased lengthwise in the water tight to a bearing. So how does it work? So when we start turning the handle of the screw will start turning, so the bottom part of the screw will get the water until it rises, until it fills with the water.
Alarm clocks was created in ancient Greece by Ctesippus, a Hellenistic engineer and inventor. Ctesippus invented alarm clock at 3rd century BC. This alarm clock or water clock used to wake people up or remind them of important events throughout the day.
The first known vending machine was designed by the Greek engineer and mathematician Hero of Alexandria around 215 BC. When the right amount of coins was entered into the slot, the mouth at the bottom would open and the holy water would dispense for use in the temple.
This is Heliopile, invention of Heron of Alexandria, also called Hero. He called it an heliopile or wind ball. His design was a sealed cauldron of water was placed over a neat source. As the water boiled, steam rose into the pipes and into the hollow sphere. The steam escaped from two bent outlet tubes on the ball, resulting in rotation of the ball.
A brief history of ancient Roman period. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need.
The history of the Roman Empire can be divided into three distinct periods. The period of Kings 625 to 510 BC, Republican Rome 510 to 31 BC, and Imperial Rome 31 BC to AD 476.
Now we will proceed to the sum of the inventions from ancient Roman period.
Rome Colosseum, also named the Filipino Amphitheater in Rome. It was built as part of an imperial effort to regenerate Rome after the year of the four emperors, 69 Common Era. As with other amphitheaters, the Emperor Vespasian invented the Colosseum to be an entertainment venue hosting gladiator fights, and even mock naval battles.
This is Rome Ballista 1 talent caliber. It was adjusted by the Romans to meet their needs around 400 BCE. This weapon was used a heavy crossbow-like to shoot arrows, darts, and stones at enemy soldiers.
This is the Julian calendar. It was invented by Julius Caesar. It was invented in 46 BC. Its main purpose was to calculate holidays.
A galea was a Roman soldier's helmet. These were initially probably made by Gallic smiths, so retained the original influence in construction and design. It originated with the Celts around 300 BCE and saw service into the 1st century CE. All Roman soldiers wore helmets and armor to protect during battle.
Aqueduct was built by the Roman emperors Augustus, Caligula, and Trajan. Roman aqueducts were built over a period of about 500 years from 312 BCE to 236 CE. The Roman aqueducts supplies fresh, clean water for baths, fountains, and drinking water for ordinary citizens.
Silk. Lady Shi, the wife of the legendary Yellow Emperor, who is believed to have ruled China about 2000 BC, is known to as the goddess of silk, as she is the one who invented or discovered silk weaving. Silk was first created in China during Neolithic civilizations in the 4th millennium BC. Silk was used for many different things, including making clothes, hand fans, screens, fishing lines, bowstrings, writing instead of using bamboo, compass.
As early as 2,000 years ago, Chinese scientists may have understood the rubbing an iron bar with a natural magnet called a lodestone would magnetize the needle to points toward north and south direction. Around 200 BCE, the Han Dynasty in China produced the first ever compass.
Gunpowder. It is the first explosive to have been developed, popularly listed as one of the 4 great inventions of China. Gunpowder was invented by Chinese alchemist Wei Buyang, also known as the father of alchemy, and it was invented during the late Tang Dynasty in the 9th century. The Chinese used gunpowder and gunpowder-based weaponry as a military defense, and it has also been used for non-military purposes such as fireworks, for entertainment, or inexplosive for mining and tunneling.
Paper money. Its inventor is unknown. Paper money was created during Tang and Song dynasties, starting in the 7th century. Its roots were in merchant receipts during the Tang dynasty 618 to 907, as merchants desired to avoid the heavy bulk of copper coinage in large transactions.
Seismograph, also known as Haofeng Didong, an earthquake detector. It was invented in 132 AD by Zhang Heng, a Chinese astronomer in the Han Dynasty. It was made of copper with a central pendulum. Each dragon pointed out the different directions. The dragon's mouth that was closest to the earthquake source opened and the ball dropped into the mouth of the frog, producing a sound. This let people know the direction of the earthquake.
The water mill is an ancient Greek invention. Philo of Byzantium is debated as the inventor of the water mill, but there's no proof that he came up with the design. It was invented early before the Middle Ages, but became very popular and most important invention in medieval period. Water mills can be used for such purposes of agricultural produce.
The medieval knights originate back to Frankish ruler Charlemagne in the 18th century. Knight service in the European feudal system military duties performed in return for the 10 years of land. The military might break wide for wars or expeditions, or merely for riding and escorting services or guarding the castle. It influenced the conduct of medieval military campaigns and also the important religious and literary dimensions.
The inventor of wearable glasses is unknown. However, Roger Bacon penned down how the appropriate use of different lenses. Eyeglasses gave hope to the people who have bad sight and help farsighted focus on items close up. This invention gave impact to the people to overcome vision's problems.
Compass is an instrument that is used to find out the main direction or cardinal directions. By the end of the 13th century, a dry mariner's compass had been invented. Compass helped the explorer to sail far out into ocean and far away from land. Up to this day, travelers continue to use compass.
The printing press is a device that allows for the mass production of uniform printed matter, mainly text in the form of books, pamphlets, and newspapers. An important effect of the printing press was that people could read and increase their knowledge more easily, whereas in the past, it was common for people to be quite uneducated. The printing press also helped standardize language, grammar, and spelling.
Good day. When the time of modern age, telephone was invented in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell. Telephones made it easier for businesses to communicate with each other. It cut down on the amount of the time it took to send messages to each other. The telephone revolutionized the way that people communicated with each other. Many businesses benefited from the advancement in communication. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Camille Moreno, the reporter of Light Bulb.
In 1879, Thomas Edison developed a practical incandescent light lamp. He used a carbon filament or strip coiled and connected the platina wires. A year later, in 1880, was the beginning of commercial manufactured light bulb. Incandescent light bulbs are used in our daily lives to give us light.
One of the greatest inventions during modern age, the bicycle, or the rubber safety bicycle, invented by John Kempis Sterling in 1885. This form of bicycle revolutionized our ability to travel and is important in moving people and goods in areas where there are few automobiles.
Going to discuss is the IBM Simon. It is considered as one of the earliest devices. Who invented the IBM Simon? Frank Canova. What was the time it invented? The IBM Simon was invented in 1992. What is the purpose or use of the smartphone? Placing and receiving phone calls, documents, emails, messages, and etc. Thank you po.
Hi guys! What I am holding right now is one of the inventions during modern age. This is what we called Wi-Fi, or wireless fidelity. Wi-Fi is a technology that allows us users to use the internet without cable. It was invented during 1997 by Hedy Lamarr.
Fish sauce. The formula prepared to the BEED or Alintentay is the inventor of fish sauce. The beginning of the thriving patis business of Alintentay is officially registered in 1949 and is known today as Tentay Food and Sauce Incorporation. The goal or purpose of fish sauce is to help every parent and chef prepare a delicious meal every day.
Erythromycin, discovered by Dr. Abelardo Aguilar in 1949 by taking samples of isolated microorganisms, a bacteria that led to the development of this antibiotic. It is a microlide antibiotic that has been available to market since 1952, useful for treating virus infections, and also has an indication for a non-infectious pathology.
Yo-yo. The inventor was Pedro Adrelin Flores, and this is invented in 1928. Why did Pedro Flores invent the yo-yo? Flores was inspired to launch his own toy business that would specialize on selling yo-yos after reading a newspaper article about a man who allegedly made millions by selling a straightforward toy made and rubber ball.
Electric jeepneys were the brainchild of Green Renewable Independent Power Producers Incorporation. What is a jeepney? It is an environmentally friendly version of a popular vehicle originally made from US military. The first locally produced e-jeepney was launched in 2008. E-jeepneys intends to steer clear of the use of fossil fuels to help reduce climate change such as air pollution, solid waste, and rising oil prices.
What is videophone? A telephone that can transmit video as well as audio signals so that users can see each other. It was invented by Gregorio Y. Zara. The purpose of video telephone invention is enable the caller and recipient to see each other while conversing, laying the foundation for video conferencing.
The jeepney. If New York has yellow taxi, London has red double-decker, of course, Philippines has jeepney. It is the most popular transportation in the Philippines. Leonardo Salvador Sarao Sr. was the founder and owner of the Sarao Motors, a company known for designing, manufacturing, and selling jeepney.
One of our chosen Philippine inventions is called videophone or the two-way television telephone in 1955, patent as the photophone signal separator network. It was invented by a Filipino engineer and physicist named Gregorio Y. Zara. These inventions allows two persons to see each other on a television while communicating on the telephone.
The bamboo incubator in 1941. So it was invented by Babylonian del Mundo, a Filipino pediatrician, and she is also known for shaping the modern child healthcare system in the Philippines. So she designed the bamboo incubator in order to help to regulate the temperature of the infants by putting a hot water bottles in the spaces between the baskets. And then
This is one of the invention of the Philippines. This is called yo-yo. Yo-yo was invented on 1928 by Pedro Flores. He was born on April 26, 1896 in Lintar, Ilocos Norte. Pedro Flores trademarked the name yo-yo, which means come and go. In fact, the yo-yo is considered the second oldest toy in history. The toy was made of wood, metal, and terracotta.
One of the examples of Philippine inventions are called 3-in-1 fire truck or Patriot. It is invented by Alfred M. Ano Sr., also known as the godfather of the inventors. It is the fire truck of 3-in-1 package that can be simultaneously a fire truck, a rescue vehicle, and an ambulance. Its triple capability allows firefighters and emergency workers to put out fire, rescue people and animals, and provide first aid treatment to the injured.